After getting off work and returning home, I pressed my girlfriend on the bed and gave her a series of kisses. She tried hard to push me away but couldn't say a word as I was kissing her. I noticed that her face had turned red. We've been together for so long. Why is she still blushing? Oh my god. She's blushing. I quickly got up, feeling extremely embarrassed. Brother-in-law. You. Well, where's your sister? She just went out. I'm sorry, you two look so much alike. Brother-in-law. I'll leave first. She hurriedly put on her shoes and left. If I had known that this misunderstanding would make her fall in love with me, I would never have done this even if I were beaten to death. My girlfriend has a twin sister. The two of them look very similar. Their heights, weights, and facial features are all identical. Even their voices are the same. My girlfriend said that they were born only 1 minute apart. The only difference is their personalities. My girlfriend is more introverted and quiet, while her sister is more extroverted and free-spirited. Today, my girlfriend didn't tell me that her sister was coming. I mistook her directly and did such an embarrassing and alluring thing. I am so frustrated that I keep scratching my head. 10 minutes later, my girlfriend came back, carrying a lot of groceries. Where's my sister? Well, she left. Left? Why did she leave? I was at a loss for words and didn't know how to explain. Just suddenly had an urgent matter and left. How is that possible? My girlfriend looked at me suspiciously. I'll call her. My heart was about to jump out of my throat if my sister-in-law told the truth or if her embarrassment made my girlfriend discover something. I really couldn't clear myself even if I jumped into the yellow river, watching my girlfriend take out her phone, enter her sister's name, and press the call button. Every step was teasing my nerves, and my heart was almost jumping out of my throat. Power off. My girlfriend called again, but it was still powered off. The stone in my heart finally fell to the ground. I vowed that in the future, before doing intimate actions, I must first ask who is who. Perhaps there was just some urgent matter. My girlfriend stared into my eyes. You're not right. What's wrong with me? You stutter when you lied on tea. You know that yourself. I don't stutter. Then why is your face red? Isn't it too hot? Hot? So hot that you're sweating all over? I quickly changed the topic. I'll help you put the groceries in the fridge since your sister is gone. We definitely can't finish all this food. Did you two do something bad behind my back? I responded while putting away the groceries, not daring to look her in the eyes at all. How is that possible? What could we have done? What are you thinking? Next time I see her, I'll ask her properly. Ask then. I replied. Lie. 2. At night, I couldn't sleep. My mind was full of the image of my sister-in-law being pressed down by me and struggling. My lips sealed hers, and she couldn't explain and could only make muffled sounds. Desperately, I turned over and secretly scolded myself as a rogue. At this time, why am I still thinking about those things? It's better to think about how to avoid embarrassment when we meet next time. Moreover, this matter must not be known by my girlfriend. She loves the sister the most. If she knew that I kissed her sister, whether it was a misunderstanding or not, breaking up is inevitable. Fortunately, my sister-in-law hasn't shown up these days. Judging from my girlfriend's appearance, the two sisters haven't had any in-depth communication. As long as no one mentions this matter later, it should pass like this. Finally, a stone in my heart fell to the ground in the middle. I met my sister-in-law several times. She talked and chatted with me very normally, as if that incident had never happened. This is the best. It was originally a misunderstanding, and the responsibility lies with me. It's already very fortunate that she can forgive me today. My girlfriend got off work very early. As soon as I opened the door, I smelled alcohol. Where did you go? Drink so much. Company. Gathering. Annoying. She mumbled a few words and then collapsed on me, dazed. I carried her into the bedroom and went to the kitchen to make honey water for her. She took the cup and took a big sip, then suddenly put her arms around my neck and passed the honey water in her mouth to me. Don't make trouble. Don't make trouble. I just thought she was drunk and let her rest well, but she didn't want to let go. Today at the company dinner, they were all in pairs during the meal. They were touching and groping. I was the only one alone. Where did you eat? And there was touching and groping. While she was talking, her hand didn't stop and reached from my waist to my back. Her hand was very hot, as if there was a fire wandering on my body. My girlfriend was really drunk. The whole person had no support points. and half of her body was hanging on me. The smell of alcohol mixed with her perfume was very intoxicating. Looking at her completely red cheeks and the teasing of her hands, I no longer intended to suppress my desire and kissed her hard. After a long time of tossing and turning, I was sweating all over. I went to the bathroom to take a shower again. When I returned to the room and looked at my girlfriend's sexy back, an idea appeared in my mind. This idea was like a cold breath, rushing straight from my heel to the top of my head. Damn it. I really have a bad memory. Was the person who was being intimate with me just now really my girlfriend? Are you Ella or Elizabeth? 3. A loud slap. Daniel. What are you thinking? No, Elizabeth. Listen to me explain. You're so disgusting while doing that with me. You were actually thinking about my sister. Are you still a human being? No, listen to me explain. While I was saying explanations, I couldn't think of how to explain this matter at all. Could I tell her that I mistook Ella for her last time and kissed her vigorously after pressing her on the bed? Wouldn't that be even worse? But if I didn't mention that matter, how could I let her know my worry? You two look so much alike. I isn't it because I'm afraid of making a mistake. What are you thinking? Could my sister have such a thing with you? Are you despicable? I really was blind to be with you. Elizabeth, I'm wrong. You really misunderstood. Did something happen between you two? She stared into my eyes. No, really not. I don't believe it. It's really because you two look so much alike. I thought about asking clearly otherwise how could I handle it? If nothing happened between you two, how could you have such a worry? She slapped me hard again. I watched her cry like pear blossoms with rain. She put on her clothes and left by slamming the door. There was no way this matter would only get worse if I tried to explain. I could only wait for her to calm down and then apologize to her properly. I sat back on the bed. There was still her residual warmth on the bedding, and there was evidence of her love on the sheet obviously. It was a very beautiful and intimate thing. How did I mess it up like this? I grabbed my hair in remorse. I didn't have the mood to clean up the room. I opened a bottle of wine and gulped it down. If we broke up because of this matter, it would be too unworthy. I have known Elizabeth for half a year. We fell in love at first sight. She is just like her name. Very Elizabeth. She is beautiful, virtuous, and sensible. Her sister is her soft spot. No one can make her sister suffer, including me. I don't know how long I drank. The whole person was dizzy. The door opened. Elizabeth came back, looking very tired. I quickly went over and took her hand. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. She looked at me coldly. Are you sick? Don't be angry. Okay, I'm really wrong. No. Did you get drunk by yourself? I'm exhausted from just getting off work. Don't bother me. At this moment, the smell of alcohol turned into sweat and rushed out from every pore of mine. In 1 second, my clothes were all soaked. Just now it wasn't you? What do you mean it's not me? Are you drunk? She gently pushed my head. This push made me completely awake. But I fell into even greater confusion. My whole head seemed to be stuck and couldn't move. I won't talk to you. I'll go into the room and lie down for a while. Before I could stop her, she had already seen the messy sheet and the condom packaging by the bedside. I knew I couldn't hide this matter anymore. I could only tell her the truth from the beginning. Misunderstanding, when I mistook Ella for Elizabeth and gave her a forced kiss today, when Ella was drunk. I mistook her for Elizabeth again and did that. I didn't hide a single word in the middle. After Elizabeth heard it, her eyes were red, and big teardrops fell down pattering. Why? No, this can't be completely blamed on me. It was Ella who took the initiative. I didn't expect her to take the initiative with me. Slap. I got another slap. Also, after it was over, she pretended to be you so that she could leave. Isn't it obvious that this was all her design? Slap. Another slap. I can't remember how many slaps I've received today. This slap completely broke me down. Damn it. You two sisters are the same, right? You all like slapping people? I've already said that she seduced me. She seduced me. She pretended to be you, so I had sex with her. It's not that I really wanted to have sex with her from the beginning. Let me ask you, where the hell did I go wrong? Elizabeth didn't say a word and silently packed her things. Yes. I should have discovered it earlier. Elizabeth is very calm when she's angry and won't make a big fuss. It's not at all like what Ella pretended. Moreover, Elizabeth rarely takes the initiative to do that with me in any case. I am responsible for this matter. I hugged Elizabeth from behind. Listen to me. I really made a mistake in this matter. I apologize to you, but... Let go it. As dirty. She stopped packing and didn't look back at me. Her tone was as cold as dead pork in a freezer. Without any vitality. If I didn't let go, she wouldn't resist. I could even hold her like this for a lifetime. But I know that the longer I hold her, the more her heart dies after all. I can't hold her for a lifetime. At that time, there will really be no room for redemption. I watched her pack and leave. It seemed like she went through the same process as Ella. Why on earth? Why on earth? Why? Why did Ella seduce me? Why did she design to frame me? She even sacrificed her own innocence. Is it just to take me away from her sister? I dialed Ella's phone. It was still powered off. She doesn't seem to like turning it on very much now. Thinking about it, Ella is a very strange woman. She comes and goes as she pleases. And there is no pattern in her actions. Could she really have fallen in love with me? Impossible. We have only met a few times in total. The most intimate thing is just that I mistook her for someone else and kissed her forcefully last time. Masochistic tendency. Fell in love with me after being forced, just when I was extremely puzzled. I received a WeChat message from Ella. How is it, brother-in-law? Is having an affair exciting? Are you sick? Having sex with the elder sister, and then the younger sister? Isn't this what men dream of? You quickly explain this matter to your sister. Okay, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, at People's Park. Let's talk face to face. 5 The next day, Ella was wearing a crop top and blinking her big eyes while drinking soy milk on a park bench. Aren't you cold? She handed me the half-drunk soy milk. Do you care about me? I pushed her hand away. Don't play this game. Don't drink? Then I'll leave. I'll tell my sister that you forced me. She got up to leave. Come back. I'll drink. I was so angry that my teeth itched. There was her lipstick on the soy milk straw, and a faint girly fragrance. I frowned and changed the direction of the straw and drank. Tell me, why did you do this? What else could it be? Because I like you. You're talking nonsense. We only met a few times. How many times did you meet my sister before falling in love? I was at a loss for words. What does the number of times you meet have to do with liking someone? I am your brother-in-law. You're not married yet, but I'm in a relationship with your sister. She stood up and straightened her chest. I looked exactly the same as my sister since I was a child. Our faces and figures are the same. Where am I worse than her? I also stood up and looked directly into her eyes. I admit your sister is beautiful and I like her very much. But I'm definitely not with her just because she is beautiful. Oh? She smiled and put her lips close to my ear. I'm better in bed than my sister. You know that. This sentence made my face turn red as an old man. You're really sick. I threw away the soy milk and was about to leave. Give up. Even if I break up with your sister, it's impossible for me to be with you. If you leave, I'll tell my mom that you had sex with my sister, and then with me I'll never marry my sister in this life. Go ahead, I admit it. If we break up, then we break up. Then I'll call the police and accuse you of rape. I stopped and glared at Ella. What on earth do you want? Be responsible for me. Then I also had sex with your sister. Who should I be responsible for? Be responsible for both. The three of us live together? It's not impossible. Don't be ridiculous. Your sister can kill me. She thought for a while. Then you can just be my boyfriend. Impossible. Then can you pretend to be my boyfriend? I sighed. Sister. There are many good men in the world. Why do you have to pester me? She suddenly fell silent, lowered her head, and tears fell like pearls. Where are the good men? Why can't I meet even one? You will meet. Ella took my hand. Brother-in-law, be my boyfriend for 7 days. Just 7 days. After 7 days, I will personally explain to my sister and guarantee that you two can be as good as before. My sister loves me, and most you have to believe me. Really? I swear if I can't do it after 7 days, I'll be hit by a car when I go out. I covered her mouth with my hand. Okay, no need to swear. I promise you. She smiled, very slyly, and licked the palm of my hand with her tongue. I quickly pulled my hand back. 6. In order to let her help me win back Elizabeth, I would agree to almost any condition for her. Except for that aspects. He proposed it twice, and I firmly refused both times. That is my bottom line. The rest is nothing much, just eating, drinking, and going to nightclubs. Elizabeth used to like quiet. I didn't go to bars and nightclubs often. Now I go almost every day, and it makes my head ache every day. Beauty. Let's dance. A stranger's hand put around Ella's waist, and neither agreed nor refused. She was twisting her body wildly on the dance floor. The man became more and more unrestrained, and the place where he was putting his arm was getting lower and lower after all. Ella is Elizabeth's younger sister. I walked over and knocked the man's hand away. Brother, keep your hands clean. Who the hell are you? I am her elder brother. Ella refuted. He is my boyfriend. Damn it, since you have a boyfriend, why are you being so flirtatious here? The man waved his hand angrily and left. What are you talking about? Say it again. Ella stopped me. See? I just said I can't meet good men. What good men can you meet here? Then where should I go? I thought for a while. Go to the amusement park. The next day, I took her to the amusement park. She played on the merry-go-round, the pirate ship, and the roller coasters. He was laughing like a child. I found that she was really fickle. She was enchanting like a stunner in the nightclub and innocent like a child in the amusement park. Here, I took the ice cream in her hand. First time here? First time it. As so much fun. I took a lick of the ice cream cone. It was a bit cold. I brought your sister here once. She didn't dare to play anything, and wouldn't let me eat ice cream. She said it would cause diarrhea. She waved her hand. My sister is so stubborn. Don't pay attention to her. Take me here in the future. I smiled. It's already the 4th day. There are still 3 days. Why are you so disappointing? Where do you want to go tomorrow? I want to go to your company and take a look. What are you doing at my company? I was very surprised. Mind your own business. I couldn't resist her. I took her to my workplace. Some colleagues had seen Elizabeth before. They thought Elizabeth had come to the company and greeted me with a smile. Ella didn't expose it, and responded enthusiastically to everyone. Colleagues all said that my girlfriend is in a good mood today and is so talkative. I was relatively busy at work. After telling her to stay quietly and not make trouble, I started working in less than an hour. She slapped a woman hard. That woman was my immediate superior. 7. What are you doing? I ran over and stopped Ella, who wanted to slap again. She scolded me. This woman pouted as if she had been wronged. Who the hell scolded you? After the superior came to her senses, she seemed to go crazy and went to pull Ella's hair. Ella dodged sideways and gave another loud slap. You're really shameless. I didn't want to slap you anymore, but you came over to ask for a beating. The boss frowned and came over. What's going on? She, Daniel's girlfriend. She hit me, the superior complained. Then tell me why I hit you? The superior didn't speak. You said no wonder Daniel's work efficiency has been low recently. It turns out that he has been charmed by a vixen, and even brings her to work. Did you say that? Do you think I can't hear you if you speak softly? Don't make trouble in the company, Daniel. You deal with your girlfriend yourself. I quickly nodded. A crappy boss. What kind of airs are you putting on? Ella didn't give the boss any face at all and confronted him directly. The boss didn't bother with Ella. He glared at me. The meaning was obvious. You give a solution. Ella stood in front of me and blocked the boss's sight. I said, how do you manage as a boss? Don't you care if the manager squeezes the bottom employees? The boss was stunned. That bitch. She pointed at the female superior who had been slapped. She assigns tasks to Daniel after midnight. Can't wait until the next day? What she assigns are not what Daniel should do at all. It as completely passing on her own work. Why do you keep such a useless person? You. How do you know? Although I have been with Ella these days, I didn't expect her to be so observant. You were working overtime in the bar. Do you think I can't see? I was silent. Elizabeth would definitely not notice these things. Also, haven't you already found a new job? Anyway, you are leaving. Why are you still suffering from this kind of abuse? If it's not convenient for you to slap a woman, I'll help you. How do you know everything? I had a black line on my face. Are you going to leave? The boss asked me. Yes, with this shitty company. Shitty boss. And shitty superior. Is there anything to be nostalgic about? Ella chimed in. Go to the personnel department. Leave now. Outside the company. It was drizzling. I was holding my office supplies with both hands. Sal, it was holding an umbrella for me. You came to the company today, just for this? Yes. Otherwise, what am I doing here? Come to play. I nodded and was very emotional. How do you know everything? I'm not blind these days. You can't eat well or play well. I sn't it. Just because of these crappy things. Only when you found a suitable new job did you show a little smile. She seemed to be showing off to me and talked non-stop. Since you are already planning to leave, you have to vent your anger severely. And this way, you can leave quickly and save a month's time of saying goodbye to the company. I wanted to reach out and stroke her nose, but because I didn't hold it firmly, the materials fell all over the floor. Don't move. If you move, it will fall again. She bent down and picked up the materials one by one for me, looking at her long hair wet by the rain. I couldn't tell what it was like in my heart. She was more careful than Elizabeth, more enthusiastic than Elizabeth, and cared more about me than Elizabeth. It seemed that being a girlfriend was not bad. I quickly shook my head and threw this unrealistic thought out of my mind. 3 days later, it was still such a rainy day. Instead, I was holding an umbrella for her. When it was the appointed date, my 7-day boyfriend was honorably laid off. She smiled. Don't worry. I won't break my promise. I will explain clearly to my sister. I nodded. She hugged my waist tightly and rubbed her head hard on my chest as if she wanted to remember my smell. This time I didn't push her away and gently patted her back. Ella didn't ask me to send her off. She took a taxi and left by herself in the next month. Neither of the sisters contacted me. Just when I was about to forget about them and live my own life again, I received a WeChat message from Elizabeth. I'm pregnant. For a moment, I didn't know how to face this matter before going to bed. Ella sent me exactly the same for words. After I came to my senses, I still replied to Ella first. Impossible. That time between us we took precautions. You don't want to be responsible? No, big sister. I wore a condom. How could it be possible to get pregnant? Is wearing a condom necessarily safe? Can't it leak? Whether you believe it or not, I have only had a relationship with you. Damn it. I threw my phone hard against the wall. God damn it, you really want me to die? How can I explain to the two of them and their parents? The next day, I bought a new phone and logged on to WeChat. There were instantly more than 99 unread messages. Elizabeth only sent me one sentence. You ignore me? I didn't expect you to be such a person. I will give birth to the child. It has nothing to do with you. I wanted to reply, but she had already blocked me. The rest were basically sent by Ella. From the initial questioning, to swearing, to crying, to finally being heartbroken. Those days, I was in a daze. There was also a person getting drunk in the corner of the bar. How many days haven't I eaten? 3 days. 4 days. I drank until I vomited wildly every day. Then I got up and continued to drink. Later, I directly started vomiting blood in a blurred vision. Someone pulled me up and carried my arm and walked out of the bar with difficulty. Who? Elizabeth or Ella? In the taxi, all the gods and Buddhas were chanting sutras in my ears. In this world, where can there be a perfect way to not let down the Buddha and not let down the beloved? It is impossible to be responsible for both of them at the same time. But if I am still a man, I have to be responsible for at least one of them. Who should I be responsible for? Elizabeth and I are the original couple. I should be responsible for her. But now she hates me to the core. Ella is actually a victim. If I hadn't forced a kiss on her that day, none of the following things would have happened. But this is unfair to Elizabeth. I turned my head and looked at that extremely familiar face, at her anxious expression and slightly resentful eyes, and smiled. Then whoever took me out of the bar tonight, I will be responsible for. Whoever it is, at least she cares about me. That night, I didn't know whether it was Ella or Elizabeth who was making love with me. I only remembered that she cried first when we got home. I held her and kissed her. When I had memories again, the two of us were already on the bed that night. She seemed to want to vent all the grievances in her heart. Or in this way, she declared sovereignty and showed that I was hers. I was also very indulgent. Maybe I also wanted to settle on a person to take care of for life through this. Ironically, I didn't know at all whether the body that was intimate with me all night was Elizabeth or Ella. 9. I was awakened by thirst. After gulping down a large glass of water, I stared at the water glass in a daze. I fell asleep after we did it yesterday. This glass of water was put by her on my bedside. The one who can be so careful is probably Ella. I shrank back into the quilt and wrapped my arms around her waist from behind. She murmured happily and fell asleep deeply without me when the sun turned into a sharp sword and pierced my eyes. She was facing away from me like that, with her back naked, and her whole body was nestled in the sunlight. Ella? I tested. She turned around and smiled. You finally recognized the right person. Ella. Marry me. I will marry you and take care of the child together. Good. We tacitly didn't mention Elizabeth. 10 When I arrived at Ella's house, I was extremely nervous. My whole body was shaking. Fortunately, Elizabeth wasn't there. Otherwise, my old face would really have to be thrown on the ground and stepped on. I guess Ella deliberately brought me back when her sister wasn't there. Hello, uncle and aunt. Hello. Sit down first. Ella's parents were neither too enthusiastic nor too cold to me. Looking around, I always felt that there was something strange about her house. But I couldn't tell what was strange. That she left? I asked Ella. She nodded. When the two elders heard this sentence, their expressions became even stranger. It seemed to be a mixture of embarrassment, confusion, and a little anger. Left. Did they know about the mess between me and the two sisters? I quickly changed the topic and started praising how young Aunt looked. Ella's parents invited me to have a dinner after eating. I quickly said goodbye and left the room like escaping, fearing that Elizabeth would come back and bump into me. What are you afraid of? It's not good if we bump into each other. Don't we have to face it sooner or later? Can't my sister come when we get married? Alas, I sighed. What should I do about the child in Elizabeth's belly? She insists on giving birth to it, but how can she raise it? How much gossip will she be talked about? Ask her to abort it, but what right do I have to give her advice after confirming my relationship with Ella? I haven't seen Elizabeth again. She has been avoiding me. Looking at the big bright red exclamation mark on WeChat, my heart was filled with mixed feelings this month. I have been focusing on work and trying to forget this unpleasant memory quickly until I saw Ella in the nightclub. A man was putting his arm around her waist and kissing her neck. She was enjoying it with her eyes half closed and twisting her body passionately, regardless of the baby in her belly. 77. What are you doing? Mind your own business. I am your boyfriend. If I don't care, who will? She smiled, very maliciously. Right, you are my boyfriend, then let's break up now. Okay, you have no right to care about me anymore. I was stunned on the spot. An unnameless anger exploded in my chest. I pulled her arm and left the nightclub. What do you mean? I don't mean anything. I just want to snatch you away from my sister. That's it. She said it lightly. Why? Why are you doing this? I scared the passersby. Don't think I don't know you, just like my sister always. What you and I have is just a physical relationship. I admit that at first I really liked your sister, but after getting along with you for such a long time, when I looked up, she had already left far away, and didn't listen to me at all. I went to that bar I often go to again. When I sat down, the girl in the corner was drunk. I walked over. Elizabeth. She smiled and waved me to sit down. You drinking so much is not good for the child. Hey, who are you? Mind your own business. She waved her hand and shook it in front of my eyes. Are you okay? This sentence was the second time I heard it today. I was very depressed. Why are you here? You can get drunk here. Why didn't I drink because... Wait. How does she know that I was drunk here? Elizabeth never drank before. I also didn't tell her that I had been drinking in this bar. How does she know? A dazzling bolt of lightning flashed before my eyes. I almost fainted with my eyes darkened. A fact that I didn't want to admit was vividly placed in front of me. 12. It was you that day, right? That day when I was vomiting blood. It was you who took me home, right? You took me home and then left because you were afraid that something would happen to me. You called Della over, right? I was like crazy and shook her shoulders. Her eyes were red and she was crying. Is it important? Is it still important now? Why? Why didn't you tell me? I also broke down and grabbed my hair and cried. It was always Elizabeth who cared about me and took care of me. It was Elizabeth who took me home. It was Elizabeth who put the water glass by the bedside. Only that day when I had sex with me was Ella. And Ella just wanted to snatch me away from her sister and then dump me. I sent Elizabeth home first when it asked me why she was so drunk. I didn't answer. With bloodshot eyes, I searched for Ella's figure in various nightclubs for a whole night, but didn't find her. The next day at dawn, Ella came to my house on her own initiative. Her face was full of malice and provocation. I actually don't like you at all. Really, those behaviors were all pretended by me. I have hated my sister since I was a child. She has everything. I have nothing, so I will snatch everything of hers. After snatching it, I will throw it away. I don't want to get it. I just want to see her lose it. You are the same. I just want to take revenge on her. I just want to make her suffer. I hate her. All these are what she owes me. Ella became more and more excited as she spoke. It took her a long time to calm down. But you were not at a loss. Either you had sex with the elder sister, and then with the younger sister. Into this kind of happiness with to women what all men want. She touched my head like touching a dog. What exactly happened between you two? You seem to have such a good relationship. Why do you hate your sister so much? Want to know? She lifted my chin with her index finger. This action was ambiguous and sexy in the next life. Ella didn't say anything. So I went to ask Elizabeth when I arrived at her house. Only uncle and aunt were there. Auntie, where is Elizabeth? She was stunned. Elizabeth went out early in the morning. What about Ella? Ella is dead. She has been dead for a long time. 13. Dead. Then who have I been in contact with all this time? Who have I had sex with? A gust of wind blew out from Ella's bedroom, cold and chilly, making me shiver. Daniel, are you okay? No, I'm fine. I took out my phone, rambling. Lie, Auntie. Look, this is Ella's WeChat. Look, I still have her phone number. I'll call her. Listen, I dialed the number, but no one answered. Auntie looked at me in disbelief, suspecting whether there was something wrong with my mental state also. There are moments. Look. This is Ella's moments. Look. Isn't this her bedroom? I rushed into the room without even taking off my shoes. I compared the photos on my phone with the furniture in the bedroom. Look. This photo was taken right here, right? From this angle. Auntie, look. I'm not lying to you. I squatted in the corner and murmured, how is it possible? How is it possible that she is dead? Impossible. Child, don't scare me. Auntie helped me up and took my phone. She frowned and looked at it. It is indeed my home. What's going on? I seemed to have fallen into hell. Under my feet was a quagmire. No matter how hard I struggled, I couldn't get out. There was a cold wind blowing in the room, and cold sweat was pouring down my forehead. Elizabeth. Right, Elizabeth must know. Finding Elizabeth can figure out what's going on. I snatched the phone from Auntie's hand and rushed out of the door quickly. Child. Oh, child. Wait. 14. In the car. Auntie called me. I didn't say a word the whole time and listened in silence. 15. When I found Elizabeth, she was by the river. She was wearing a windbreaker and looking at the waves in the river. Elizabeth. She turned around when she heard the sound. When she saw it was me, she turned away infuriately. Why are you looking for me instead of staying with Ella? Elizabeth. There is no Ella. Ella is dead. 16. Impossible. My younger sister is not dead. My younger sister is fine. You're just a liar. I held her shoulders and forced her to look into my eyes. There is no Ella. Ella is dead. She is dead. Impossible. Then tell me. How long has it been since you last saw your younger sister? She was stunned, as if recalling it seems like a long time. I have never seen you two at the same time. There are no photos of you two in your house. Have you ever thought about why this is? You can call her now. Call her every day. Surely no one will answer. She stared at me blankly. Why? Because you are Ella. Your younger sister is something you imagined. Ella is already dead. She died when you were 6 years old. Dead? She almost fell. I caught her in time on the hospital bed. Elizabeth was still in a coma. Aunt and uncle were on their way, and I was still recalling everything Auntie told me. 17. Elizabeth is indeed at Win. She does have a younger sister named Ella. When they were 6 years old, they had a serious car accident. What's even more terrifying is that both sisters have rare blood types. The hospital didn't have enough plasma. Only one person could be saved first. The other one needed to wait for the allocation from the blood bank of other hospitals. The doctor kept urging the old couple to make a decision. Otherwise, both of them would be in danger. After much hesitation, the old couple decided to save the elder sister with more serious injuries first. By the time the plasma was transferred, the younger sister had already passed away. The old couple were heartbroken, but there was still a child to raise. They could only force themselves to come out of their grief as Elizabeth grew up. She was a bit introverted usually. There didn't seem to be any psychological problems. It wasn't until I appeared that the old couple felt something was wrong in the car. I called a doctor friend. After listening to my description, he said it was very likely to be dissociative identity disorder. Elizabeth, because of her guilt towards her younger sister, developed a secondary personality, that is, her younger sister, Ella. The main personality has always regarded her secondary personality as her younger sister. Subconsciously, she kept giving herself hints that her younger sister was not dead and as the secondary personality of the younger sister. She was also influenced by the psychological hint of the main personality. She thought that the elder sister owed her, and that the elder sister was sorry for her, so she wanted to snatch everything that the elder sister had, including me. Fundamentally, the secondary personality thought that the main personality had snatched her own life. This can also explain why the two of them were pregnant at the same time and why they both liked to suddenly leave and then come back. They needed to switch personalities. My friend told me to take Elizabeth to see a psychologist as soon as possible. Treatment with medication would make her recover faster. Knowing all this, I cried loudly. The emotions that had been suppressed for so long could finally be released. The recent pressure was almost driving me crazy. Fortunately, the two of them were one person. There is only one child, it's mine, and the person who has been sharing the bed with me has always been one person. My heart no longer needs to endure the judgment of morality and the torture of human nature. 18. I looked at the sunflower on the windowsill. It shook its head as if no matter what happened, it would welcome the sun of the next day with a smile. Daniel, the psychologist came out of the treatment room with Elizabeth. Today's treatment is over. Ms. Wo's condition is much better. Soon her secondary personality will completely disappear. Thank you so much, doctor. I bowed to the doctor. What were you looking at just now? Elizabeth held my arm, looking at the flowers. What's so good about sunflowers? Every time you come, you look at it. You've been looking at it for a month. It's so cute with its head tilted just like you. 19. I am very happy this month. One thing is that the doctor told me that Elizabeth's dissociative identity disorder is completely cured and she doesn't need to be treated anymore. Another thing, Elizabeth and I are getting married. We have been preparing for the wedding. Mr. Daniel, do you take the bride as your wife? Will you love and protect her no matter whether you are poor or rich, healthy or sick in the future? I do. My voice was very loud, looking at Elizabeth's smiling face. I was also very happy. Ms. Wall, Elizabeth, do you take the groom as your husband? Will you love and take care of him no matter whether you are poor or rich, healthy or sick in the future? I correct it. My name is Lo Ella. The master of ceremonies was completely confused and repeatedly checked the cue card in his hand. A chill rushed straight to my glabella. I seemed to be frozen. My whole body trembled like chaff. I watched the expression of the woman opposite change from happiness to malicious resentment, but there was nothing I could do. She leaned close to my ear and whispered softly, "It was so hard to pretend thanks to you and the psychologist. Now my sister is completely dead. Thank you."